It's cruise day, and we are heading to the cruise terminal, to our home port in New Orleans, Louisiana. So we'll show you a little bit of information about getting to the airport, or to the cruise port. We'll talk to you again soon. What we're going to do is show you exactly how to get to the Laredo Street Cruise Terminal. This is where Carnival parks at. This cruise terminal is right downtown in the heart of everything, right by the twin spans. And we'll show you how to get there exactly. But if you're driving in the day of the cruise, it's easy. If you're flying in, I suggest flying in at least 1 or possibly 2 days in advance. That way you could see the city. There's a whole lot to see here, and well, sometimes just 1 day isn't enough to see it. Here you have the quarter. This is where most of your tourist attractions are going to be at. Here is Jackson Square. There's old hotels all through this area. So if you wanted a brand new hotel, that's going to be over along Canal Street. You'll have your Hilton, your Holiday Inn, all those are along Canal Street. Those are all your modern day new hotels. But I like old. So if it were me, I would stay at one of the old hotels over in the quarter area. One of the good ones is right here at the corner of this one on St. Anne Street. There's a hotel, Place d'Armes. That hotel was built back in the 1800s, so it's an oldie, but a goodie, and right at the middle of everything. So this is where you'll want to stay at before your cruise. Stay over in the quarter. And as far as things to see, well, there's all kinds of stuff to see in the quarter. You have the square, Jackson Square. Give you a little more history on Jackson Square and Andrew Jackson in a second also. But here's a lot of the older buildings. One of the oldest church in North America is here. You have Pirates Alley, can't miss Cafe Du Monde with the beignets. There's a whole lot to see over here, and one of the oldest coffee shops in the world. When in New Orleans, don't just go around and look at the quarter. Take a tour, and one of the best tours that they have, well, it used to be called free tours by foot because the tour was exactly that, free. But they've taken free off now, so you have to pay for the tour, but they have some excellent tours. Here you can take all kinds. You can take a French Quarter tour, a ghost tour. Don't see it here, but they offer it, a cemetery tour. You wouldn't think a cemetery would be interesting, but you would be surprised. There's a whole lot of tours to take of New Orleans and give you a history of the area. And they're not too expensive. Here we can look at this one and see that, let's see, how much this tour. A French Quarter tour. That one would be a good one. $29. $30 for a tour. It lasts about 2 hours and give you a good overview of the quarter and tell you where you can come back to later on and get good drinks, good food, and the history of the area. So take a tour of the city by foot. And here's where you're going to get off whenever going to the cruise ship. Chapatoulas is the exit. So right here is where we're going to make a right and head to the cruise ship terminal. And whenever that you're coming down on Chapatoulas, we're going to take a right here. And then soon we will be making a left again. So as soon as you make the right, get in the left-hand lane. And as you can see up in front of us now, they have a few cars that are ready to get on the cruise ship also. So it is about 9:45. We cannot check in until 10 o'clock at earliest, but we will be waiting for them whenever that we get on the ship. So we'll also see a bunch of freight containing trucks here.
No, not yet.
And also whenever you come here, stay in the far left lane, because the far left lane is the one that we're going to be in. The right lane is sometimes blocked by the trucks bringing supplies onto the ship.
Right.
So stay in the left-hand lane. Here, after we take this left, we're going to try to get in the far right-hand lane. That'll be the one to get on the parking garage. So here is Mardi Gras World.
Yes.
So that's a big tourist attraction is Mardi Gras World. And like I say, the cars should be lining up to get into the parking garage. And it's $25 a day for the parking garage. And as you're coming down the street, we're going to park in the Laredo Cruise Terminal parking. So this is where we're going to park at for our trip. We're going to so we'll have to show the boarding pass again. Parking. Yep, parking. All right, bud.
Put your right blanket on.
All right, thank you.
Go to the guy with the blue shirt on. Stay in that lane.
All right, so we're through with this again for a little while. So whenever we come here, you'll see the Carnival Cruise Line parking. And here, we'll go prepaid to park. And you'll pay here, and that's it. Thank you, ma'am. Say hello to folks. And the next thing we'll do is go up the escalator, because where we're going to be parking at is floor number 3. First floor, we're going up the second floor now. Floor number 3 is actually where you're going to drop off your luggage at. So as these cars slowly go up, you'll transition indoors and go all the way up the park. We have another car behind us, so hopefully they'll come right behind us.
But at least I'll be inside now. I don't have to go any higher. Not out in the open.
So now we're in the parking garage. The cruise is right off the side to the other side of us. So it's above the parking garage.
Yeah, oh Lord.
So the porters are right here to take your luggage. So make sure you have your passport, your boarding pass, and everything you need right here, because this is where you'll drop everything off. All right. And this is the group that we have going on our trip. It was originally supposed to be just 9 of us, or 3 of us, but we ended up with 9. So everybody say hey. Hey. All right. And whenever that you're here, they got to take your picture first. So they're going to take your picture and we're going to take their picture.
We ask you to immediately go to deck 4. Deck 4 is where your muster station is. I just got off the ship and we were at 0 count. What does that mean?
In case you're wondering how big the ship is about 1,000 feet long. So, and about 14 to 15 stories tall. So whenever that you're on the ship, if you have problems walking, you may need to get a wheelchair. And that's exactly what we did for one of our family members. On this trip, we brought our own wheelchair, but you can rent them at the facility. So if you need a wheelchair, arrange ahead of time and get one in advance. We are getting on the ship for the first time. And it's a little bit bumpy, but this is it. Hello. Hello. And wherever you come on, you're going to be in the atrium. If you can't figure out what you want to eat, get it all. So that's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Not sure what all kind of cake that is, but
Right.
it's good. This is a room tour of cabin 6300 on the Carnival Liberty. We always come on the ship with a sign, so that way we can find our room. If we get out, find it a whole lot easier. Whenever you step into the room, this ship we have an ocean balcony room. So this is a balcony room. So we come over here. First thing we have is closets on the left-hand side. Plenty of hangers, and this room can accommodate up to 4 people. So that's why we have a ladder in our closet. So ladder in that closet. The next closet we've already unpacked, at least I have. So here we have all of my clothes, plenty of life jackets all through there. So that's the second hanging closet. And this one's just shelves. So this closet has just shelves from top all the way down to the bottom. And full-length mirror. So here, see yourself getting ready. We'll go back toward the counter just a little bit and look in the bathroom. The bathroom here is a standard bathroom, not a whole lot of light. So we'll put stuff over here. This also has, underneath the sink, room to put stuff. So under the sink shelving, and a little trash can on this side. Then shelves on the left side also. So plenty of light. Little rod to hang your clothes on if they're wet. So a little wet hanging closet. You have the body wash and shampoo. Pretty typical. And remember, whenever you get in the shower, set your water temperature first, because this water gets hot. And if you can't read it, there's a sign right here that says the same thing. So always check the temperature of the water before getting in. As we come out, this is the outlet situation. On here we have, that's just the light switch over on this side. Here we have one European switch and one American switch. So bring one of these, a little converter. That way you can put all of your stuff in there. I have all of my camera equipment. We have hair curling irons and things like that all in there. They come with a hair dryer, but that's about all that you get. These are all empty, and Cheryl will fill all the drawers underneath it up. We have a couple of drawers down there. On this other side, like I say, this room was meant for 4 people. So that's why there is a bed hanging from the ceiling, and then right below it, a couch. But there's a little ledge at the back that you can put all of your stuff on, and that's what we did. That way we can pick it up and get it out of the way. And there's a little table here also. Whenever you're coming, they have towels already, so no need to bring any towels. So towels, sheets, all that stuff are already here. We also have glasses, and the shelf right above it, a safe. So safe right above it. We also have a receipt. Not sure what the receipt's for, but somebody left that. A few little shelves at the end down here, and a little drawer. This is a little drawer there. Give you an example. That's my hand, so it's about the width of my hand. So you really can't put a whole lot in that, in this angular shelf. The bed we have made as a king size bed, and there are no additional outlets. So that's the only outlet is the one that you see that we have the converter plugged into. So that's the only outlet for the room. And we'll come over and look at the balcony. So here we have an ocean side. So we're on the river side of the ship. You see all the bridges. That's the twin span for New Orleans. and the ships are right here next to us. So we are right out on the water. Whenever that we leave, we'll go out into the river and turn around. So our side of the ship will be the scenic side. And that's the side we're going to do our tour on, is on the scenic side. So we'll go up there later on and show you a little bit what we see as we go down the river. This balcony has a couple of chairs on it. Just 2 chairs and 1 little table. My mom is next door. We're going to see later on if we can get the divider for the balcony opened up. That way we can fit a few more people out here if needed. Because there's 3 of them in that room. And all 3 don't have a chair. It's not big enough. There's our first wildlife spotting. A pelican. So a big brown pelican going off the side. There's another one diving down. And this is just the big bend in the river. So anyway, we'll take you on a little scenic tour later on. The first thing that we're going to do is tell you why the fun ships are named the fun ships. Because there's always a party going on. This sail away party will take about the first 45 minutes of your cruise. So be prepared for all the music and partying going around at the center of the ship. For the best scenery, be on the port or left-hand side of the ship. After it gets out in the middle of the river, you could see it spinning around right here. But be on the port or left-handed side of the river going downriver. And we are away from all the music on the sail away party. Looking at the other ships going by. This is the Norwegian Getaway. It's going to do a 7-day itinerary also out of New Orleans. And the downtown area. Over here is Jackson Square. You'll have all the French Quarter area over here, along with Bourbon Street. So this is where all the action is, downtown. And the cruise ships dock right at it. If you're wondering, this cruise ship dock is also home of the 1984 World's Fair. So this is the World's Fair building right here next to the cruise terminal. You can see where that we parked right at the cruise terminal dock. So we'll give you a little more narration as we go down. If you're on river boats, a little bit further down or upriver is where the river cruises dock at. And we are right at the downtown section still, going down river. Here you can see the Aquarium of the Americas, followed by all the tall hotels, Four Seasons Hotel, Canal Street we just passed. We're coming up to Jackson Square. You can see over here is Jack's Brewery, and the lower buildings that you see right there is the French Quarter. There's 13 square blocks of historic buildings. You cannot destroy any of those buildings. And that's where the party happens at night, till all hours in the morning. We're here at the first part of January. If you remember, on January 1st, New Year's Eve, there was a terrorist attack right down here. We'll show you some more as we keep going down. In just a second, you'll see the French Quarter, the Jackson Square coming in view. The building that you see right here is Jackson Square. The church that you see coming up is St. Louis Cathedral. That's the famous one all the pictures are of. Coming into view is St. Louis Cathedral. The original church was built in 1718, but destroyed by fire. So what do you do when your church is destroyed by fire? You build another one in the same place. And the same thing happened. The second one was also destroyed by fire. So the one you see now, the third rendition, was built. The other building just to the left of Jackson Square is Jack's Brewery. That's where the old beer used to be brewed at, Jack's Beer. The next thing that you'll see just downstream here is a cold storage area. This is where chicken is flash frozen and shipped all over the world, right from the river downtown. And here you can see some of the barges. These are all empty, so they're setting high up in the water. If the barges are full, they'll be setting low down in the water, just a couple of feet out of the water. So these are all empty. And you have a few older piers, and then further down is a ship. You see the gray ship. That's a U.S. Navy ship, the Ready Reserve. So these ships are kept ready to join service at a moment's notice. So if they're called, they can leave within 24 hours. Normally there's 2 ships parked right here, but right now there's only 1 because the other ship must have been called up. There are several spots along the river where that these ships are parked at. So this isn't just 1 spot. There's 4 or 5 spots along the river where that the Navy has ships pre-positioned and ready to take off. You can see the train tracks right next to it. That's where all the heavy equipment would come from. Tanks or trucks or anything else would come there. Normally these 3 buildings that are in the back, they're pretty dilapidated now. But during World War II, that's where they would stage supplies at. Store them there and get them ready to ship out. So that was a big holding area. But here is a ship, the Cape Knox. We talked about some of the ships holding the different cargoes. This ship has natural gas on it. So it'll pull up next to a big ship like this one if it's powered by natural gas and can fill up directly from the barge to a ship. And there was another one right around the corner. But here, it's just warehouses around this area and another ship coming up shortly. So all kinds of freight in this area. Down further, I can see plants, and one in particular we'll talk about. It's the largest sugar refiner in the Western Hemisphere. The next thing we'll come to downriver is the Domino's Sugar Refinery. This black area is one of the largest sugar refineries in the Western Hemisphere. You get into the beignets down at Canal Street, probably the sugar came from here, Domino's Sugar. And usually these barges that are right out at the edge are loading sugar up. So you'll see the brown sugar, they'll bring it in and process it to white sugar, package it, and ship it out everywhere that you can think of. You can see the refinery is running right now because of the steam coming out as they're purifying the sugar to a pure white sugar. The big black building that you see over on this side is a warehouse. That thing is totally sugar on the inside. So right now they're not working the port area, but inside is running away.
I had no clue that was Domino's Sugar as long as I was in New Orleans.
Some of the other things to do, you'll pass by the riverboats going downstream. The Creole Queen. This one's a dinner cruise boat, so it goes out from the end of Canal Street on a dinner cruise every night. Still has this old paddle wheel operating. Some history on the obelisk that's coming up. The Chalmette battlefield. The Battle of New Orleans was fought after the war was over. They had no way of telling that the war was over, so the British were coming upriver. The war, though, was already a treaty was signed. Turned out the U.S. trampled the British right here, and the British left New Orleans. This is also where that my mom's great-grandparents are buried at. Both husband and wife are buried out here at Chalmette Battlefield. The husband fought at the Chalmette Battle. His wife fought at the the Mexican War. Both are buried side by side, right out in amongst the trees. Some more history on the Battle of New Orleans. The Battle of New Orleans was fought just south of the city. What happened was the British were coming over and planning an invasion of New Orleans and taking the city. They landed on this tiny island called Cat Island. There they were assembling all their forces and slowly ferrying them to shore to come upriver to take over the city. What they didn't know was my wife's family. Her ancestors were on Cat Island. They escaped the island on a small boat and went ashore and told everybody that the British were coming upriver with the number of soldiers and the types of weapons that they had. As a result, her ancestors were gifted the island of Cat Island, the whole island. Then, once the word got out that the British were coming up river, my ancestors, all the way up from Macomb, Mississippi, this area, was informed. There, some of the soldiers had fought with Andrew Jackson previously. They understood that the city needed help, so they got all the men that they could, along with the few cannons that they could scrounge up, and came to New Orleans. There, they set up a defense, knowing that the soldiers from the British Army are coming upriver through Chalmette. You could see this area is real low and was even lower back then because now there's levees to protect it. But this little area, Chalmette, they had to come through. So they set up their defenses at this area. And the battlefield, well, it was earthen ground. They set up all that they could with all the men they could find. The U.S. had 5,700 men. The British had a little over 8,000. But they weren't encountering the resistance that they thought. It was a lot worse. The U.S. fought and suffered 71 casualties. The British took over 2,000 casualties. It was a rout. The British were kicked out of New Orleans, never to return again. And you could find the husband and wife duo, my relatives, interned amongst the trees at Chalmette Battlefield. While traveling down the river, you're going to see every type of cargo imaginable being loaded and unloaded in the river. The port of Louisiana, there's multiple ports. You have the port of Baton Rouge, the port of New Orleans, the port of South Louisiana, and the port of Plaquemines Parish. Combined is one of the largest ports in the world, offloading and everything you can think of. Here, grain being offloaded from the barge onto the ship. Another thing you're going to see plenty of while traveling down the ship is refineries. This one making everything petroleum you can think of. Gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, marine fuel oil, petroleum coke, butane. All items made with gas or with oil is being made here. The oil being processed here is both from the U.S. and from overseas. As you get to the mouth of the river, you'll see a lot of oil wells that are out in the Gulf. You'll start seeing them whenever you come back, probably a half a day before you reach land. So they're a long ways out there. That's where the BP Horizon exploded years ago. But all that oil is coming refined along the river between New Orleans and the Gulf. Another interesting spot as we sail down the river. This machinery that's out in the middle of the river is a dredge. The river has to be dredged out to 50 feet to allow all the big ships to go up and down the river. What they do is they take the dredge, pump the sediment that's at the bottom of the river out on land. There they could lay it out, and what they could do is sell some of this as construction material or as landfill, whatever is needed. So this keeps the river at a constant level of 50 feet, and the Corps of Engineers is responsible for keeping this depth. That way, any type of ship can come upriver all the way to Baton Rouge with a 50-foot clearance. And the 50 foot is from river bottom to the top of the water. And I'm always on the lookout for ducks, and I spotted my first duck of this cruise. This one attached to the metal of the ship. There's a little tiny magnet attached underneath. But as we look out, you could see all the ships lined up, waiting for their cargo to wherever in the world that they may be going. Like I say, Louisiana is a hub of activity when it comes to shipping. And if you wonder how far that we are, well, we haven't left sight of the city yet. If you look off in the distance, at the front of these ships, you could see the city skyline right there. At the front of that ship. That's downtown New Orleans that you could see at the front of the ship. So we're still within sight of the city, even though we've been at sea now, or at least in the river, for probably a couple hours. And as our tour of New Orleans comes to an end, well, it's dinner time. Only in New Orleans can you have history and scenery soon as you get on the ship. Usually at all the other ports, you go out into the Gulf or the Caribbean where there's nothing to see but open ocean. Only New Orleans gives you the scenery of traveling down the river. And as you review the menu tonight, remember there's an Emeril Lagasse section. There's always a couple dishes that he has. And he got his start right here in New Orleans. Of course, off to a slow start because whenever he first started, he wasn't qualified to do any cooking. They only let him make salads at Galatoire's. So when you come, be sure to sample all the cuisines in the quarter. For appetizers, Cheryl has a roasted tomato soup, and I'll have Emeril Lagasse's crawfish strudel, partially eaten of course. And while eating, remember there's a full service bar, so just tell your waiter what you would like. Cheryl and I both have the Szechuan shrimp as an entree. And for dessert, there's plenty of healthy options like fresh fruit. Of course, I have to get the cheesecake with the strawberry sauce. And Cheryl has the navel orange cake. This also is from the no sugar added selection. And in true Carnival style, after every meal it seems, there's a party. Here, the crew sing and dance and have fun. That's what makes it the fun ships. And later we'll have this same song playing down, but played on a piano, so that's interesting. And as we settle in for a relaxing night, I think you know who's going to get the beer and who's going to get the Diet Pepsi. Of course, we tried our luck at bingo, but no success. We were failures at bingo tonight. And after a quick game of bingo, there's the Welcome Aboard show with singing and dancing. This show is just a taste of what's going to be coming in the days ahead. There's multiple shows and singing events throughout the cruise. This will be the Valor coming. It looks to be about maybe 100 yards away from us, so very close. Hello, Valor. Yay! And yes, it is customary to scream and holler at the other ship as they pass by. Our cruise is beginning as theirs ends. And with that excitement, the first night on our 7-night cruise comes to an end. Hope you've liked tonight's video, and if so, hit the like and subscribe button. That way we'll be informed of how many people are watching our videos. And as always, thanks for watching.